And we are so excited that you're joining us today as we get to meet Farmer Jessica and, of course, your adorable calves, Lucky and Pixie. First, this live chat is part of the Adopt a Cow program. More than 43,000 classes and 1.7 million students joined the fund for free this year, thanks to our generous supporters like the Dairy Alliance and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. If you'd like to join the fund again next year, you can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt and get enrolled starting today. Registration is open, and so if you're already in the program, you can simply log in and re-enroll. Or if you're new, you can go ahead to that website, create an account, and get started. Next, today's event is live and being streamed on Facebook and YouTube. We are so excited to hear from you and hear your questions, and I know Farmer Jessica is really excited to answer them. Now, before we go over to Farmer Jessica, let's see who is joining us today. So let's check out that chat. And we had some folks joining us early on. One of our first schools was Miss Howell's class, and they're from Solera Intermediate School. So hello and welcome all. We're excited to have you. We've got Mrs. Alfred Savelle's class, and let's see, we've got a bunch of students from the Alabama Connections Academy. Very nice. Hello and welcome. We've got some folks who are joining us from Thorsby High School in Alabama. Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Mrs. Johnson's class in Whitesboro Elementary in Boaz. Hello and welcome. We've got Miss Britt's second graders in Sugar Creek Elementary. Hey, second graders, nice to see you guys. Thanks for coming on. We have Mrs. Davidson's class, third graders, in Gadsden, Alabama. Hello and welcome. And let's see, we've got some folks from, try to get one more here. Mrs. Grace's class from Mobile, Alabama. Hello and welcome. We are so excited to have you. Go ahead and keep using that chat. You know where it is now. We would love to hear your questions for Farmer Jessica, and I know she's excited to hear them. So go ahead and drop them in there. We will get to the questions at the second half of our chat. Now, speaking of Farmer Jessica, I am so excited to introduce you to her. Hey, Farmer Jessica, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
Oh, we are so excited to be here with you today and not only get to see you, but of course get to see our adopted calves for a little while. But before we do that, Jessica, I would love to learn a little bit about you and your farm and your role on the farm. So I'll let you take it away.
All right. Well, I farm here at Circle J Dairy along with my parents and also my husband, Tyler. And so we have a head of 55 cattle that we milk every single day, twice a day. We started the dairy back in December 2022, and we started out with just 14 cows. And so from there, we've grown pretty quickly up to 55. And
Wow.
so it's been great. We've enjoyed it. And not only do we milk the cows twice a day, every day, but we also use their milk and we pasteurize it and then we bottle it and sell it in grocery stores and also coffee shops and restaurants. And so that's been great for our business. And so also not only do we do whole milk, we also have started doing chocolate milk. So that's been a fan favorite, and we're glad to be able to make that product as well.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I lived closer that I could come try your chocolate milk. That sounds really good. Now, can you talk a little bit about the word pasteurized? You mentioned that. What's the importance of you all pasteurizing your milk, and what's that process look like?
Yeah, so pasteurization is very important. We vat pasteurize, which means it's a low temp pasteurization. It gets up to 145 degrees and it stays there for about 30 minutes. And then we cool it back down. And then that just ensures to kill any potential bad bacteria that
Sure.
could make you sick. And so odds are it would be fine, but we just
Mhm.
want to take that extra precaution and
Sure.
pasteurize it to make sure it's safe for everyone to drink.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just ensuring then that every single glass, every single gallon, no matter what, will always be safe to consume, which
Yes.
ensures we all have a really great product. That's really cool. Are there any prospective projects on the horizon at all that you guys think you want to expand or add or do, or any dreams for you, Farmer Jessica?
Yeah, so I would love to start making ice cream. That's
Ooh,
been a highly requested product from our customers and also just family members. And so that's in the works. We were hoping to have it by this summer, but it's not looking like we're going to get there. So hopefully maybe by next year we'll have it going. It's just a lot involved with ice cream, but I know
yeah.
once we get it it'll probably be a hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's so exciting. Now, would the ice cream be something you would be sharing at like restaurants and stuff, or would that be at like a on-farm store or just, what are your thoughts and dreams?
So the ice cream would most likely just be at our farm store.
Gotcha.
We could have the capability to sell it to other people, but I think starting out, we would probably just sell it here at our farm store.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun and a great opportunity to come visit, get some ice cream, get some good dairy
Yes.
products, and get to see you potentially if I were Jessica, and
Right.
that's really
Yeah.
neat. I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you to you and your family for kind of getting back into the dairy industry and finding this passion. It's exciting, and we've loved following you and your calves this year. So,
Yes.
speaking of those calves, we would love to get an update on how they're doing. So. Poor
Yeah.
Jessica, what are they up to?
So Lucky and Pixie are doing great. I actually just saw them. We fed them their breakfast and they loved it. Lucky and Pixie both are, they've grown so much. They're probably about 250 pounds, close to it.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Pixie is a little bit smaller than Lucky, but they're both great calves. They love to run around and play. They don't drink milk anymore, so they're strictly on pasture and they love to eat the grass, they love to eat hay and also grain. And so they're just doing great and they love it
Oh,
out there in the sunshine and they love to get their head scratched. They're just big
oh,
pets. So we have loved Lucky and Pixie and all of the other calves that we have too. We have a bunch. So it's been fun to see them grow and just from a little bitty baby up to where they are now.
yeah. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's been so much fun getting to follow them. Sorry, folks, I'm getting that video back up there for you. So we can see them hanging out in their pasture. You mentioned they're chowing down on some yummy food,
Yes.
and getting all that good stuff. Now, we have been obviously following them for quite a while now. So for the first 6 months, we've been getting a lot of height and weight updates
Hmm.
on what they're up to. Um, their last update said that they were 200 pounds and 50 inches. How big do you think they are now?
Would say they're probably more than 200 pounds. Probably anywhere from 225 to 250. They eat a good bit, and at this age, they just grow so rapidly. And so that's one thing. But now these two, are Jerseys, so they're not going to get quite as big as a Holstein, the black and white cows. So the little brown cows will stay a little bit smaller, just in general. But they're a great size and a great height and weight, and so they've done really well.
Oh, oh my goodness. That's amazing. I love to hear that. So they're growing big and strong and oh my goodness. Hopefully you guys are seeing this, that they are hanging out in their pen here. I want to make sure it looks like something. Give me 1 second. Looks like maybe something is not quite showing up correctly for you. And I want to make sure you guys are seeing these girls because they are adorable. Farmer Jessica was able to get some video of them. We're at a farm that the services can be a little bit tricky. So we're making sure you guys can see these. She grabbed this video footage really fresh for you, so we could see how they're doing. So let's see if we can get this rolling for you. So Farmer Jessica, while we're waiting on this video getting to move here, we've had some questions coming in already.
Okay.
We were curious. So right now, they're munching on the hay, they're munching on some other goodies. What will they be eating next? What's kind of their next steps?
Yeah, so once they kind of transition and have their baby, and then they'll start getting milked, they will kind of start eating more of a total mixed ration feed. And so it will have a lot more minerals and vitamins to try and support their milk production because right now they're not making any milk, but in the future, once they have their baby and start making milk, uh, they'll need that extra support. So that feed will have a lot more, like I said, vitamins and minerals just to kind of help support them. And they'll
Sure.
continue eating the hay and grass as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a yummy, yummy, delicious diet. Now, when will they get to be considered a grown cow? When do you consider them full grown and how big will they be when that happens?
they'll probably be, I don't know, around 2 years old, a year and a half, 2 years old to be full grown, but then they'll continue to grow even as they age. So we have some cows that are 5, 6 years old, and they're a good bit bigger than, a 2-year-old cow. So they just kind of continue to grow as they age. But once they kind of stop growing, I would say around 4 or 5 years old, they would probably be considered fully grown.
Wow. Okay, so 4 or 5. That's awesome. So let's see. We've got some other questions coming in from everybody. We have this is a good question from Amanda. They were curious, what's the ideal temperature for cows in Alabama and how do you help keep them warm or cool? That's a great question.
That is a good question. So, if you're from Alabama, you know that we have really hot summers and we can have pretty cold winters depending on the time of year. But
Sure.
typically the ideal temperature for a cow, they enjoy colder temperatures rather than hot temperatures. So an ideal
Hmm.
temperature would probably be like in the 40s, between 40 and 60 degrees, but they love 70-degree weather too. They make a lot more milk when it's that type of temperature. When it's in the 90s plus, they don't really make as much milk. But they
Sure.
do fare well when it's in the 30s, 20s, not as well. But we try to keep them, if it's that cold, we keep them up in a barn, try to keep them warm. But they prefer really just to be out on pasture most of the time. So when it's really, really hot, uh, there's the calves.
There we
When it's
go.
really, really hot, they try to just find shade when they can, and that seems to help them. But and there's lucky. I would say just, around the between the 50s to 70 range. They're the
Okay.
happiest.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, now we can see the cuties. I'm not sure. Sorry about that, everyone. The sharing was giving me some trouble, but they are loving up on us now. Oh my goodness. Now it looks like they've got a lot of herd mates. Will they live with these herd mates for the rest of their life, or how does that transition happen for them? Because I know when we first met them, they were living on their own.
Right, yeah, they when they were first born, we kind of tried to keep them separate. That just helps with several different things, but whenever they get older, we do put them in group settings, group pens, and most of these calves that are with them are all around the same age. So it helps us just as like their herd managers to know kind of who goes with who and um different ages and when they need to be bred and that type of thing. So
Sure.
these calves will probably all stay together for the most part for the
Gotcha.
length of their, time.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, well, I'm sure they've made quite a bond too as they've been hanging out
yes.
together.
Yeah, they're
So.
all friends.
Aw. Now, looking at this video, we can see there's some really cute jerseys, which are like our cuties, but there's also another breed in there, I believe it's called a Holstein. Can you just talk
Yes.
about maybe the difference in that? We can kind of see some height difference. There's a clear, visual difference. What does that mean? They're all still cows? Like, just kind of talk a little bit about that breed difference.
Yeah, so the difference between a Jersey and a Holstein mainly is, for one, their size difference. Holsteins grow a lot taller than a Jersey, and also the milk is a little bit different. A Holstein's milk is not quite as rich in butter. So the Jersey milk has a high butter content. So a lot of times, if you see any of our milk, if any of you have purchased our milk, you'll notice that it has sort of a yellow tint to it, and that's because most of our cows are Jerseys, and it creates a milk that has a much higher butterfat content. So it's a lot richer. Not that it's any better for you, because Holstein's milk is excellent for you.
Sure.
It's just maybe not quite as rich in that butterfat. But I like the mixture of Holsteins and Jersey milks together. To me, it just creates the perfect balance, and it's just a great, wholesome milk to drink.
Awesome. That makes sense. That's like you said, it's a great way to balance the two out together. And of course, those jerseys, that Jersey milk will be great for the one day down the road for your ice cream. So
Yes, that's right.
that'll be awesome. We
Yes.
had a good question from Mrs. Bishop's first grade class. They were curious, have you ever had twins on your farm before?
Yes, we have. Earlier this year, we had a set of twins. They were bull calves. So we ended up selling those to a family to raise. But yes, we did have a set of twins, and they were so cute. They were tiny, but they were fully
Oh,
developed, and they did great on the bottle. And as far as I know, that family still has them, and they're doing great. But yeah, we have had one set of twins. It's kind of rare, but it's not unheard of.
sure.
But so far, that's the only set that we've had. But who knows? We may have another set in the future.
Oh, that's fun. Now, we would love to know how many babies can one cow have maybe a year or in their lifetime? And this is from Mrs. Sims' fifth grade class.
Okay, great question. So the gestation of a cow is 9 months. So that means that the mama cow will carry her baby in her belly for 9 months. So she can have a calf once a year, if she wanted to. Maybe a little over a year. Yeah, a year and a half, 18 months. But they can have at least one every 2 years for sure. So they can be pregnant, right after they have their baby, they have to come back into heat in order to have that baby. And it's very similar to a human. Their gestation is very similar to that. So they can have several
Okay.
babies in their lifetime. A cow can live for several years, and as long as they're in good health, they can have several calves.
Wow, very cool. So about one a year, they're similar to humans.
Hmm.
And then I think if I'm correct, Farmer Jessica, on average, cows will live somewhere between 6 to 8 years, 5 to 7 years. It depends.
Hmm.
Every animal is a little bit different, but so
Right.
probably anywhere between 4 to 5 or 6 calves a year, which that's amazing that they get to have so many little babies
Yes,
and
yes.
added to your herd.
That's right.
Now, let's see. We had another question. Someone was curious. You mentioned the chocolate milk in the beginning,
Hmm.
and we were curious, how do you make chocolate milk? Because we know it doesn't come from brown cows. So
That's
how does
right. It does not. So
that?
yeah, we use the same white milk, whole milk that you would typically drink just plain. We take that same milk and we add chocolate powder to it and also sugar. So it has a lot of sugar to make it sweet and yummy. So you have to be careful and not drink too much. But um, we pasteurize it the same way and we just add in those ingredients and we heat it up, cool it back down, and then we put it in bottles the exact same way. And we just put a brown top instead of a red top. So uh, that's really the only difference. And it is great. It flies off the shelves. People love it.
Oh, I am sure. I love me a good chocolate milk. Nice
Me
cold
too.
glass of milk. Awesome. Good question from Amanda G. They were curious, who's your oldest cow on the farm that you have right now?
Ooh, the oldest cow. Let's see. I want to say we have several, so I'm having to think. One of the oldest, I think her name, we call her Echo. I want to say
Oh,
she's around 6 years old. So
okay.
not super old, but also not super young either. But she's still
Yeah.
a great cow. She gives a lot of milk. She does well. And we're gonna try to keep her in good condition as long as we can,
Sure.
until it appears maybe she's ready to retire, and we'll just let her
Right.
live out her life here on the farm, just laying around, not doing
Yeah.
much. But so far so good with her. But most
Oh,
of our cows are in the between the 3 and 6 year range.
okay.
And
Yeah,
then
that
we
makes
have,
sense.
these younger girls too. So
Sure, sure, absolutely. You've got quite a herd of younger ones coming up, which
yes,
is exciting
probably
to
too many.
continue growing your herd.
Yeah,
Look at all of them. They are. So it's funny to watch them kind of hang out. They really seem to just huddle all together. And is that pretty normal? Do they like to stay together like that? Do they ever go
they
off on their
do.
own or anything?
They like to kind of stay together. Cows in general, it seems like they like a companion. They don't like to be by themselves. Some of them do, especially the Holsteins. They like to kind of be loners. They like to hang out by themselves more, but the Jerseys especially love to just hang out all together and play and that
Oh,
type of thing. So it's fun to watch them. They have funny
yeah.
personalities.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, now I think we're getting to see, is this your dad maybe? Or is it, yeah, okay.
Yes, that's
It's your
Farmer
dad?
Ralph.
Nice.
Yep, he's putting out a bale of hay for them. We do that in the afternoons and they love it. It's like candy for them. So they love to
Oh,
eat the hay. Um, And so that's great. It's a great treat for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you said this, they do this every day. Well, I'm sure they chow down on that hay pretty quickly. 'Cause they are excited for that hay bale to come in.
Yes.
And very cool. Look at all of them. They are so excited. I'm trying to see if we can find our calves in the mix of all of this. I think one of them comes up and says hello, but
Hmm.
um, very nice. So let's see. We've had some other good questions coming in. We were curious. I'm trying to remember if you said this or not already, Farmer Jessica. I apologize. How much will a cow weigh when they're full grown?
Probably a little over 1,000 pounds, the Jersey breed. Now, a Holstein could
Sure.
weigh a good bit more, depending on just different things. If they eat
Yeah.
more or less, whatever. But I would say a Jersey, we sold a Jersey just the other day, because she was getting a little bit older, but she
Sure.
weighed it up in the in the mid thousand range. think she was around 1,200 pounds.
Wow.
But
Okay.
some of them can weigh more than that. We have some here still that we milk that weigh more than that. So,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, it just kind of depends, but I would say around in that area.
Okay, that's awesome. Now we've noticed on some of these close-ups, especially when we get to see see our cute little pixie.
Hmm.
They've got these little notes or little tags in their ears. Can you talk about the importance of those?
Yes. So I wrote those tags out and it has their birthday and then it has their mother's number. So all of their moms have a specific number so we can keep up with whose babies belong to who. So she has her mom's number and then also we wrote her name, just Pixie, but Pixie also has her own number too. And I can't remember what that is, but I think she's maybe like 011, I believe. So when she gets
Okay.
her big girl tags, once she's in the milking herd, her name is still Pixie, but she will have her own number just like her mother. So that'll be her
Cool.
number for the rest of time. And so that
Yeah.
just helps us keep up with genetics and the breeding purposes and all of that. And we also have her dad's number on there too. I believe it's on the back of the tag. So that also helps. So it has all of her information. That way we know who she is and who she belongs to.
Okay. Nice. So it's really just to help, manage them all. I mean, the jerseys
Yes,
specifically look a lot alike. So
they do.
I can
Yeah.
see I can see how
Uh-huh.
that's really helpful for you and your family to know who is who and keep track of them all. And of course, I'm sure that has a lot to do with just keeping them healthy too, making sure, oh,
Right.
this one is maybe needs a little bit more of attention or oh, this
Hmm.
one's doing great. So you can easily identify as a team who is who. Very
That's
cool.
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Let's see. We had some curious questions about when Pixie and Lucky will start producing milk. Can you remind us when that will happen?
So Pixie and Lucky will have to have a baby in order to start producing milk. So they will most likely become pregnant probably uh late, either early next year or late this year, probably early next year. We try to give our calves enough time to be fully grown, grown enough to in order to become pregnant. So it'll probably be this time next year they could be producing milk for sure.
Oh
It's
my
a high
goodness.
possibility. So I know our calves from last year. If any of your classes adopted Sunny or Melody last year, they are very close to becoming pregnant. So I'll try to keep you updated on
Oh,
them too. But yeah, so this time next year, these Lucky and Pixie should potentially be pregnant and almost ready to produce milk.
oh, that's exciting. So right now they're really just focusing on building their own energy, building their own
Hmm.
bodies, and just, I mean, honestly, they have the easiest job in the world. They just hang out with their friends and eat all day long.
That's exactly right. They have it made.
Right? But then I guess, for Jessica, we say that, but when they get to be a grown, mature cow, they only go to work for about 20 minutes a day, and then they still get to just do nothing and hang out with their herd
That's
mates.
right. Yep. And
So,
when they do get milked, they get to eat, and so that's a treat for them too. They get to eat their feed, so they really enjoy that. They look forward to it every day, twice a day, and so yeah, it only takes about 20 minutes of their day, and then they get to go back out and eat grass and hay and lay in the shade.
wow. That's incredible. Yep, I would like to be a cow now. That sounds pretty exciting and well actually lack of excitement, which is the nice part, right? They just get
Right.
to lay around and do not much of nothing, but
Yep.
very cool. I'm glad I know you guys as farmers work really hard to make sure that they can live that relaxed life. I know it doesn't come easy, right? You have to make sure they're in the right pastures, making sure that they're having the right food at the right time and they're milking at the right time. So a lot of work on your guys' end, but all to keep them happy and healthy and growing. Very cool.
Yes.
Let's see. We've got one or two more questions here. We were curious, how many hours a day do cows sleep? That's from Mrs. Patterson's first grade class.
Oh, that's a great question. So cows typically they can take naps. I've seen the cows nap like around lunchtime. They'll kind of lay down and just go to sleep. But typically they usually just nap and sleep at nighttime, just like us as humans. So I'm sure they could sleep anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, maybe not even that much, because they do graze during the nighttime too. But when the sun starts coming up, or even before the sun comes up, they're ready to be milked again. So they probably don't sleep as much as a human would, but they do definitely take naps and get their rest.
Oh, very nice. We had another question, just kind of actually curious about their mamas. Any update on how they're doing?
Oh, they're doing great. They are doing really well. We milked both of them this morning, and
Oh,
they're doing great. So, uh, yeah, no complaints
good.
there.
Good. I love to hear that they're doing well too. Let's see. We've got maybe one other question. Oh, okay, good. We're kind of, we're kind of coming back to the breeds question here real quick. We noticed that the Holsteins have spots, and the jerseys have pretty much mostly brown. But we saw a couple of jerseys also have spots. Is that common for a? It kind of looks like it's almost half jersey, half Holstein. So
Yeah,
is that normal for a jersey?
yes, it can be. It all depends on just genetics, really. All of these jerseys that you're seeing now are fully bred jerseys, so they're not crossbred. Um, but we have a jersey. She's not in this herd, but she has a lot of white on her. Her name's Tootsie, if y'all have seen her
Oh,
on Facebook or any other place like that. But she has a lot of white. And we have another cow that we milk. Um, her name is Esther, and she has a lot of white on her too. But it's just kind of hit or miss, I suppose. Some of them have white spots on their face, but it's just kind of a genetic trait, I suppose. But
sure.
it's not quite as common as, Holstein. They're typically always spotted, but a Jersey every now and then can have some white on them.
Oh, very cool. Let's see. And our last question that we'll take for today, this is a great one. We're kind of seeing in these videos that they're out in the open in the beautiful pasture, which is obviously they're loving it. But it does make us wonder what happens when it rains? What happens when it's a bad storm? What happens if there's any predators? How do they have any, kind of protection, I guess, for those kinds of things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So cows in general have really good instincts usually, and they always try to find shelter if there's not a barn readily available. A lot of times we will have a barn that we can put them in, but sometimes that can be more dangerous if you put them in a barn and then they're trapped and can't go anywhere. So a
Mm.
lot of times we just leave them out in the pasture and they will huddle around some trees or get, away from the elements and stay safe that way. So they are actually very smart when it comes to weather or bad weather. We had a tornado hit our farm one time years ago, and all of our cows stayed safe. So I don't know where they went or what happened, but they all stayed safe, and that was amazing because that would be a rarity, I feel like. But cows have a great instinct when it comes to weather, and so they
Yeah.
do find safe places to get.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're right. They're definitely much smarter than we are. They can
Right?
sense when something's coming and they know that they need to just go hunker down and then magically they're good. Yeah. No,
Hmm.
and that it's not magic, right? They just have that natural instinct and
Right.
they can work together as a team to make sure they're safe for any storms coming up. Very cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Farmer Jessica. This has been so much fun. We've really appreciated you answering our questions today. We're going to just get one last glimpse of some of our calves here. And while we do, I'm curious, what's your why, right? So you've talked about a lot of different things that that you do as a farmer. Right now, we're seeing them get fed. You give them hay and grain. You're milking around the clock. And then you're also pasteurizing and making your own products.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work. So, what's your why behind being a dairy farmer and doing what you do every day?
That's a great question. So it's, I don't know. I think it's kind of just in your blood. You just have a great passion for creating a product for your consumers. I enjoy hearing from people who say they love our milk and they appreciate what we do. And so that makes it all worth it to me and my family. My grandfather was a dairy farmer and my dad also, and now he's continuing it on with me and my mom and husband. And so it's just a big family thing, and we truly do enjoy it. There are days where it's tough and you wonder, why did we do this? But overall, we do enjoy it, and we look forward to waking up every day and tending to the cows and getting to milk them and having the opportunity to live this lifestyle that we have been blessed with. So it
Right.
truly is a blessing, and we're grateful to have this opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I mean, you're right. It's a lifestyle that you can be really proud of and you're raising animals. You're taking really good care of them. But I think the really cool part is like what you said, you're able to make a product that you're proud of and feed the world with a really delicious product like chocolate milk and maybe someday ice cream. That's just an opportunity that so few people have that they can say, yeah, I feed the world. So thank you so much, Farmer Jessica, for being one of the few who work day in and day out to take care of these beautiful girls, and specifically, of course, Lucky and Pixie, but all of their herd mates too. We absolutely have loved getting to follow you this year and following their journey, and just it's really neat to know that we know a dairy farmer now, right? It's it's
That's
it's
right.
pretty it's pretty cool. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us today before we tune off?
I just wanted to say thank you to all of these students and teachers for following along the journey of Lucky and Pixie. I have loved getting mail from you guys, all the pictures that you've drawn, and that has just brought a huge smile to my face. I haven't been able to personally thank all of you, but you know who you are, and we have them hanging up in our store for everybody to see. And so I hope that you all have enjoyed learning about them. And hopefully, if we do the program again next year, you'll follow along and learn more about more calves that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Farmer Jessica. I couldn't agree more with what you said. We would love to have you back in the program and continue learning about where your food comes from and following along real farmers like Farmer Jessica. And of course, getting that cute calf. That's the best part, right?
Yes, that's the fun part.
Pixie, yeah, exactly. Pixie and Lucky have been, I think, a lot of tr has been a treasure to a lot of classes all across the South for you. So, thank you for sharing them with us. And with that, don't forget registration does open again today, so you can re-enroll for your next year's class. Encourage your teachers to do it next year. We'd love to have you and learn about all the cool things about dairy. So registration is at discoverdairy.com/adopt, and we hope to see you then. But until then, we hope you all have a wonderful summer. Thank you so much, Farmer Jessica, and thank you.